Hello all, and welcome to tonight's beer review, which I'm dubbing I haven't uploaded any of these videos, and yet I still make them anyway. It's almost like I'm doing it for my own pleasure than anyone else's. So, beer I am going to be reviewing tonight is Deschutes Brewery's Pinedrops IPA. Now, this was actually kind of a whim, bought on a whim. Yes, I am buying beer again. I've sort of restricted myself to one 6-pack or one bomber a week, which seems to be going well enough. Alright, but let's read the bottle, shall we? In the open forest surrounding the Pinedrops Trail, there stands a rare tree. A pine that instead of sap drips a crisp, light-bodied golden ale. An irresistible hop-forward IPA crafted with Chinook and experimental hops. If you don't believe this story, just take a sip. This is fairly amped up, 6.5 ABV. Now, Now, I looked this up a bit earlier, and some of the malts used were Pilsner, which I found very interesting, and you'll see why in a bit. But let's get to the opening and the drinking, shall we? Giving it a fairly vigorous pour, so it makes a thick head here. 2 fingers worth of head. A nice yellow-orange translucent color. Very light for an IPA. Oddly, the nose is not very redolent of pine resin. It smells of overripe tropical fruits, honestly. Not unpleasantly so. It doesn't smell like rotting. It just smells like fruits that have been there, are really, really ripe. Of course, underneath that is the pine resin, but the fruit is really the hop note that I catch most of all. Just a slight bit of skunk in there. Some notes of sweet malt. There's also this odd, almost ozone-like smell to it, and I remember I said that hoppy lager had a sort of ozone-like smell to it. So, let's take a sip, shall we? For the style, relatively light-bodied. That said, the flavor is still quite intense. The light bodiness sort of comes off with this sort of crisp feeling. And I'm going to attribute both the lighter coloration and that sort of crisp feeling, but not clean, because there's definitely a lasting hop finish here, to the Pilsner malts used as part of the malting bill here. And possibly that ozone smell too. So fruity up front, Resin comes in the back, but it's not incredible intenseness, which is what I'm kind of glad for. I'm kind of getting beyond the entire point where I want pine sap in my mouth, but it's definitely long pine resin to the finish, bitterness going on there. Whereas the front is kind of nicely fruity. Little bit of orange juice, a little bit of passion fruit. There's a sweetness that kind of comes in the middle and, you know, goes into the finish, fades, leaving just that sort of hop bitterness remaining in the finish. Very lasting, that hop bitterness. I think I've pretty much about covered it. One thing I can say about this one is it doesn't play well with other beers. I had this one with another IPA beforehand, and oh boy, it really had a palate clash there. So kind of just keep this one for a fairly clean palate. Don't know why I had such a clash. Never really had that before. But when I had it by myself, it was like, oh, well, this is actually kind of pleasant. I enjoy this. So, Pinedrops IPA. I'd say it's a pretty good take on the Northwestern style IPA, which Deschutes should do very well. And, you know, with just a very slight little twist there with the malting that kind of gives a unique aspect to it. Still very, you know, it's not going to blow anyone's mind away, but it's well made. It's tasty. And I'm enjoying drinking it. So I guess I don't really have all that much left to say about this beer, other than to say, give it a shot if you run into it at the store. It's pretty. You like IPAs, Northwestern style IPAs? It's pretty good though. It's a pretty good one. It's you know, not a complete retreat. So that's your beer review for tonight, folks. Cheers.